Hey guys, it's Fred. Sheila's substitute teaching today, and somebody had sent me a video Mr. Elam had done recently, and I just thought I'd respond to it. First, I want to go over limitations of exclusive rights. The fair use right. Guys, the fair use, the way I understand it, if I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll find out eventually. But again, as long as a person's commentating on somebody else's YouTube channel or material or discussing things, they're allowed to use. So copyrights and infringements and things like that are void at a certain point. You have to commentate. You have to be talking about the subject or going over it. So with that said, I want to bring up Mr. Elam here, and first thing I want to say is, because I've watched this video briefly just to get a touch on it, and so many things comes to mind. The funny thing is when it comes to mind, if you don't write it down at my age, when it comes back up again, you forget it. I wish I wrote some of it down, but guys, Sheila and I will speak for ourselves. I think we can speak for many people we've talked to concerning this case, and there's no hatred here. There's disappointment, there's sadness, we're amazed that things can happen in this day and time that we're in, that we can accuse people of things and with no proof and them deceased. But we have no agenda to discredit without proof. Now, is it wrong for people if you're not telling the correct information, if you're telling mistruths? Is it wrong of somebody to point that out if they can prove otherwise? I don't think it is. Mr. Elam seems to think so. It's okay for him to accuse a man who's deceased for 51 years and whose wife was killed 58 years ago. It's okay for him to make all these assumptions, and the story goes, and truth has no agenda, and he can go on justice for Pauline and all these different things. But if somebody comes back with proof and proves him wrong, in fact, he's going to confirm here in a minute. He's going to confirm that he was wrong. And that's okay. At least he did confirm it. That's good. But go back through all the other videos that we've got. Look at them and go ahead and admit he was wrong on them also, because we have truth with proof. We show proof. And when there's proof, there's nothing else you can do except come out. Now, we proved this 2 days ago. We showed it with proof. We've had the proof for a while. We just wanted to give him time to respond. He never responded. He never corrected it until we did a couple of videos ago. We showed the document, the paper, where it was the evening news instead of 60 Minutes, and now he's come out and corrected it. And that's great. Kudos to him for correcting. That's all you can do. Whether it was intentional, whether it was a mistake, doesn't matter. He corrected it. Now, he says it's these little tiny things that don't amount to nothing. You take a bunch of little tiny things that you think don't amount to something, then you put them all together and it equals a big thing. I'm going to start his video, and then we're just going to try to go from there. But he talks about, let's just go through the video. Let's see if I remember to bring it up in a minute. If I don't, then we'll just catch it on another video.
Good evening, everyone. I thought I would address something that has bothered me quite a bit here as of late. That being all of the people out there who can't get behind the TBI's findings that Buford Pusser was the most likely person to have murdered.
Okay, that's like saying, I can't believe that all those over 1,200 people that was in Africa with Jim Jones. I can't believe that all of them, only 1,000 of them, drank the Kool-Aid and died. I can't believe that all of them didn't do it, didn't follow Jim Jones's orders. I just can't believe it. That's like saying, making a statement like that, or at least, in my opinion, at least that's what it sounds like to Fred McCoy, guys. Again, Fred thinks on a different thing, maybe 40 years of police work, the Marine Corps, life, seeing corruption, seeing wrongdoing by police officers, by prosecutors, I've seen it. I've turned it in. I've been fired over it throughout life. There's just not everybody is on the up and up. And if people don't stand up, we are really in a mess. If people, police officers and if prosecutors, if they don't start standing up, then we're all in a mess. And our criminal justice system is in a mess. But he says he can't believe that everybody hasn't got behind the TBI and supported them. Guys, we'd be the first ones that we love law and order. We support the criminal justice system. But it's got to be fair and honest. And you can't just support it because they call themselves the TBI. You can't support the FBI during Comey's run, during McCabe's run, during Ray's run. You can't support things that you know are not correct and fair and honest. And you can't support the TBI when you know that. When you hear on stage where Mr. Roush says that you can see all the physical evidence from the ambush scene, he tells them on stage that you'll be able to see. Well, he knew that was not true because all the evidence, the physical evidence and the original file has been lost. So why would you make a statement like that? And then Mike Elam says, why don't you everybody follow the TBI? Well, that's one of the reasons, Mike, because they've lost trust. They've lost people's trust in them. The prosecutor, he says, why don't they follow Mr. Mark Davison's lead? Well, Mr. Mark Davison said that the report said that Pauline had a healing nasal fracture. Now, the anthropologist clearly states in her written report that Pauline Pusser had a well-healed nasal fracture. Could have happened years ago. Why would we want people to think it was healing like it just happened? And that's just a few things. That's just, I don't want to beat a dead horse. If you've watched our videos, you've heard me say these things before, but Mike says, why don't everybody just follow the TBI? And he said something here toward the end. Let me see what this was. Guys, this video, I'm just going to take my time on it. So,
as of late, that being all of the people out there who can't get behind the TBI's findings that Buford Pusser was the most likely person to have murdered Pauline.
Was the most likely person. Most likely. Guys, since when did we, in our criminal justice system here in America, start persecuting and prosecuting people because they were the most likely? Me and Mike Elam's both bald-headed. Say we're in a crowd of 30 people in Walmart and the store gets robbed. And they say, well, it was a bald-headed person. Who? And me and him's the only two in there that's bald-headed. Who would be good prime suspects? Doesn't mean that we done it. Most likely, just because we're bald-headed, most likely they could have done it. But I hope I'm proving my point. But we don't convict people on most likely. We convict people on beyond a reasonable doubt, where 12 people unanimously agree that the evidence is there. The proof is there that the person did something. We're on a 58-year-old case where everybody is deceased. Now, Mike says that these people fight back. These people mouth off. These people attack people. Guys, I don't want to attack nobody. I'm not attacking nobody personally. I'm attacking their credibility. I'm attacking their evidence. I'm attacking their speech as far as what they're saying and what they can prove. It's if there was an Indian here, he would say they speak with a forked tongue, because they tell you one thing, but the evidence tells you something else. Is it wrong for people to point out when it goes in two different directions, where they say one thing, but the evidence says something else? And if you don't agree with them, it's okay that he can do this for 20 years on Buford, Pauline, Dewana, Carl, Helen. He's insulted and slandered the entire Pusser family at one point or another. Is it okay for him to do that, but yet when somebody steps up without having an agenda to slander nobody? My agenda is not to slander. My agenda is not to libel. My agenda, I have no fear that what I say is provable, or at least my opinion that I believe it, without being scared of repercussions from being lawed. Because if a person is lawed, if a person is sued, then you can get depositions, and we can put these people under oath and ask them under oath where they got these statements, where this was typed at, where that was typed at. There's different questions that we can get answers to that's going to show and going to prove our case a whole lot more than. Let's go on.
These people, a number of them, will go to any end to destroy anyone who gets in the way of their.
We'll go to any end to destroy people. Guys, we're not trying to destroy nobody. We're not the ones that made these outlandish allegations against a dead man. We're the ones that's trying to destroy people. Here sits a man that says Pauline Pusser was a stripper, or it was said that he heard that Pauline was a stripper, and he posted that on his Facebook page, a woman that's deceased, a woman that's got children and grandchildren and now great-grandchildren. But he says that we want to destroy other people by taking up for a dead man who can't take up for himself. Not just merely taking up, but showing with proof, showing evidence that what he has said, that what Mr. Davison has said, Mr. Roush, Mr. Parsons, showing that what these witnesses have said, either through persuasion or coercion, or it's not hard to listen to these tapes. It's not something we're making up. The tapes are out there. You can listen for yourself and draw your own conclusion. Mike's wanting to tell people that
narrative. So these people, a number of them, will go to any end to destroy anyone who gets in the way of their narrative.
Gets in the way. The narrative here, Mr. Elam, was to promote your book. The narrative here was to get you a movie deal. The narrative here was for the TBI and the prosecutor's office to support you and confirm what you have alleged, and they did. You got them eating out of your hand. How? I will never know. This case will be studied beyond our lifetimes. You can bet. You can bet. There are going to be documentaries. There's going to be books. This will be studied. Mr. Roush and Mr. Davison, Mr. Parsons, in my opinion, wanted to become famous, and I believe they will. I don't believe history is going to be kind to them when somebody a whole lot smarter than Sheila and I really get into this case in years to come and start looking at the evidence and saying, wow, how could this happen? How could this happen? Well, the same way it happened in Pike County, Kentucky in August the 7th of 1989, when my partner and I turned in the sheriff, judge and prosecutor and different ones for corruption, along with 4 other sheriffs who were ultimately arrested, charged and arrested. 2 judges convicted. All this, it goes on and on, but that's how it happens. That's how it happens.
So I have prepared a statement that I'll now have Brian read.
I will give.
I thought these viral translation earbuds were another
give
8 months later,
Mr.
I haven't
Elam
opened a single translation.
Kudos here, because Brian is a great, what he's got, I guess that's AI or something, but he's a great speaker for him. I wish.
Mike has prepared a statement that he has asked me to read. It is as follows. I want to clarify 2 points. First, I misspoke when I said the Roger Mudd interview with Buford aired on 60 Minutes. It did not. The interview aired on the CBS Evening News as a national news profile segment reported by Roger Mudd.
Mr. Elam, for as long as he has studied Buford Pusser, this is my opinion, for as long as he has studied Buford Pusser, he knew, in my opinion, that was Roger Mudd interview. He knew that was on the evening news and not 60 Minutes. Now, you can't 1 minute say that you're this great investigator, that you're this great, and all of a sudden something as simple as following through with an interview or making a statement without checking it out. You can't do that, guys. You can't have it both ways. You can't say 1 minute I'm this great investigator, next minute, well, I'm just a loss prevention officer and I made a mistake here. Thank you for admitting your mistake after Sheila and I showed truth with proof. After it came out, after we showed the proof, then he admitted it, not before. He didn't just voluntarily come out and say, oh yeah, it was after we posted the video showing proof. Now, Sheila knew when he posted the video and I mentioned it, Sheila started researching and she knew, along with other people, there were some other people too then and since then that's confirmed, including CBS, that it was a newscast. Buford Pusser was never on 60 Minutes, but boy, it sure sounded good with Mike Elam saying it was on 60 Minutes. Now, Mike Elam, the tape's out there, and I may go back later on and do it. We got so much going on, but go listen to the video. Give him some hits. That's what he's wanting. Go listen to the video and see if he doesn't say, I could be wrong. I think he said that he got that off the file, and this is the video that was on 60 Minutes according to TBI's investigation. Now, if he said the TBI said that in the report, then the TBI is also wrong, and that would go towards their credibility. Mike says, why don't people just believe the TBI and the prosecutor? Well, you said that the TBI also said that in their report that this was an interview from 60 Minutes. If they said that, then they were incorrect also, Mike. Then why would we follow a law enforcement agency that's doing nothing but spreading false information or incorrect investigation techniques? Or let's go on. But
second, in a later version of that footage, Eddie Bond overdubbed his voice.
We don't care. We don't care about that part there, see. Mike said, or this guy says, that it was a newscast with Mudd, and he was wrong. That's all you had to say. But now we're going to throw in there a little bit to just fog over. Let's just fog over it, because it was Eddie Bonds who dubbed over. We don't care about that. That's between Eddie Bonds and CBS or whatever. We're looking for evidence that Buford Pusser murdered his wife, or anything that's inconsistent with the truth that anybody has said about this case. The inconsistency here was that Mike Elam says that the TBI says that this is a tape where Buford Pusser was on 60 Minutes. That is not true. So according to Mike, him and the TBI was incorrect. no matter what he wants to follow up with here and throw in there to try to fog over what he just said.
Over Mudd's questions, asking the same questions Mudd originally asked. What did not change is what matters. Buford's answers were not altered. Nothing he said was edited, reworded, or manipulated.
Exactly. That's a great point there. Guys, did you hear Buford Pusser in the Eddie Bond? Call it Eddie Bond's video. Call it the CBS News video that's been dubbed over. We don't care what you call it. Listen to what Buford Pusser says. They ask him, do you feel the mob's after you? Yeah. Did Buford Pusser say anything about, I was told to go to a specific area? He didn't say that. He said he was told to go to New Hope Road. Did he say, I reached out and grabbed the barrel of a gun? Did he say anything at all that you've read in this so-called report? Did he say any of those things that's been written in that 3.5-page statement that they say is his? How much of that did he put in there? Because that's his real voice. This is Buford's statement. This is what you would go by. His own voice, or something where a newspaper reporter is right there in front of him where he had plenty of time during that time to retract. If you see a statement from Buford Pusser in the newspaper from 67 to 74, then take it for his word, because if it's not, Buford had plenty of time to go to the newspaper and get a retraction. If he didn't get a retraction, then it's probably a true statement in the newspaper. As hard as that is to believe, but it's more likely than not that it's Buford's statement. But anything that would come out after 74, after he died, or what these people say was written in a statement with no signature, that's nothing more than spoken or written in the history, guys.
The substance of his statements remains exactly the same. So ask yourself this: how does correcting where the interview aired or whose voice asked the questions change anything Buford actually said? It doesn't. A simple misspeak is not the same as lying.
Did Buford say anything incriminating in that interview with Eddie Bonds or CBS? Did anybody else hear anything incriminating? Did he say anything that would lead us to believe that he murdered his wife? But see how you can take and turn things around. If you're listening to this, you're thinking, wow, because Mike says there's nothing in that interview that changed anything that Buford said. You're exactly right. We agree. And he didn't say anything that would lead anyone to believe that Buford Pusser murdered his wife. You're exactly right. That's his own voice in his own words. But the way he's saying this, see the illusionary truth, guys? See how he points your direction into, it doesn't change anything that Buford Pusser said in that interview. And it doesn't. He's exactly right. But he's wanting you to think that there was something said in that interview that was incriminating. Buford Pusser didn't say anything incriminating against himself, or that would lead people to think that he had anything at all to do. He said that he'd made some people mad. He had some people after him. Why, yeah, of course he did.
They have accused me of. And that brings us to the real issue.
And what it leads to is he was asking, why does it matter where it was broadcast at, whether it was on CBS News or 60 Minutes? Well, it matters as a truth has no agenda, Mike. Remember? Truth has no agenda. So if you told something that was not true, then that's an agenda. In my opinion, though, the agenda was to let people think, especially older people our age, because 60 Minutes used to be a credible news, probably the most credible news show on TV. And you had this illusion in your mind that if I can say it came from 60 Minutes, then it's going to sound a whole lot better than just a plain newscast. Now, that's my opinion. Everybody has opines this day and time, so...
Rather than presenting any evidence that Buford was not involved in the murder of his wife, Pauline, a small but vocal group has chosen
How do you present evidence that he wasn't... How do you present evidence that something didn't happen, that you wasn't? How do you prove yourself innocent of something that when you're only two people's there and one of them's dead? How do you do that? The other at least three people was never convicted. And they're not even pursuing the truth. They're not even, some of the witnesses that could tell are still out there. But did the TBI pursue them? Would it get as much attention in this day and time to arrest somebody who actually was involved? Or would it get more attention to steal the fame from Buford Pusser? You guys be the judge, guys. I'm just talking common sense. You're not listening to a brain surgeon here. You're not listening to Einstein. This is my opinion.
Different strategy, attacking people instead of the investigation.
Guys, we don't want to attack anybody. This is not a personal attack on anybody. But if you're a person and you make a statement that you will be able to see the physical evidence from the ambush, and you know that physical evidence has disappeared, then you can call it an attack on that person if you want to call it like that and play the victim here. You can play the victim, but it's not going to sell with everybody, because if you tell something like that, then you just told a lie. If you told a statement as the truth and you knew that the evidence was lost and you made a statement like that, then you just told a lie. If you tell a statement like it was a healing nose fracture when you knew what the anthropologist said was a well-healed, then you just told a lie. And you can say you're attacking these people. I'm not attacking the person personally. I'm attacking their credibility. That's why we like to play the tapes, guys. I'm playing Mike Elam's tape right now. I'm playing his own video, and he's allowed to play mine. He don't need my permission. The law, the Fair Use Act, gives you permission to use anybody's video on YouTube at a certain level. So we're not making this stuff up. We're using people's own video. There's nothing better than to hear somebody's word and then show proof, just like we did on the 60 Minutes. On one video we did, I think it's on my channel, Fred McCoy 40, but Mike Elam says this is an interview done on 60 Minutes according to the TBI. Well, I think Mike Elam's the one that gave the TBI Eddie Bonds' tape. That's just my opinion. I don't know that. But they seem to have gotten anything that they have got because they lost. The TBI lost what they had. They can say buildings were torn down. They can say there was fires. They can say there was... I think that somebody stole. I think they stole it they knew after the 1973 movie came out, Buford Pusser was going to be famous. And then he died in 74. And they're thinking, hey, I'll keep this for souvenirs. Well, and the file disappeared. And it's been disappeared. Let's go on.
If you believe the TBI findings are wrong, then challenge the TBI investigation.
Mike, that's what we're doing. But by challenging the TBI, there's individuals involved. There's the chief investigator, Michael Parsons. They're the director of the TBI, David Roush. We are challenging. There's these investigators that hoodooed, hornswoggled all these so-called witnesses we're going to get to in a minute. But that's what we're doing, is challenging. And you're condemning us for challenge. How do you challenge the TBI without pointing out who you're challenging? What do you say? Well, the TBI said this, the TBI said that. Then you would be asking, if you're like Fred McCoy, you'd be saying, okay, who on the TBI said that? Well, Mike Parsons said it. Well, David Roush said it. Well, but so you're going to go back and ask the same question. So it's going to be no win. If you want to make a case, you can make a case out of it. We are questioning the TBI. That's what we're doing, sir. But we're naming the specific author of the statement or the fabricated evidence or whatever as we're doing it. So it would be forthcoming coming with the truth.
Challenge the evidence, challenge the forensic conclusions, but that's not what's happening. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation reviewed the information I submitted. The original.
You see how he wanted to say, I submitted. Mike's wanting you to give him credit. Mike, this is Mike's investigation, Mike. Mr. Elam, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. You hornswoggled the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. You hornswoggled the director. You hornswoggled Michael Parsons, because all they could see is fame, fortune, and name notoriety. Now, name notoriety comes in there with Mr. Mark Davis, and you can look at his name all over that stage and all over letters and anything else pertaining to it. He's a politician. He runs for his office, so he needs that name out there. But you're exactly right. Mike is the founder. Mike is the author. Mike has got, you can call it a lot to be proud of if you want. I don't look at it like that, but in Mike's mind, Mike is proud that he convinced the chief law enforcement agency in the state of Tennessee to follow his lead, follow his illusionary truth that he laughs about. And they did. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. And they will be studied for years and years to come in police academies and law classes across this country, guys. This case will. It's just now getting started. Down the road, this case will be researched and studied.
1967 file and evidence. Combined it with a recent
1967 file and evidence. Mike says just look at the 1967 file and evidence. Well, in 1983, they were looking for the 1967 file. We've posted it on our videos. They were looking for it, and they had sent a memo to Warren Jones, where's the Buford Pusser file from August the 12th, 1967. Warren Jones says, I don't know, the last I heard about it was 1976 when John Sloan had it. Well, they contacted John Sloan. John Sloan says, I checked it out in 1976, but I returned it to Warren Jones after I updated the file. Warren Jones says that didn't happen. Now, recently, on a Facebook post, Warren Jones's daughter says she just read her dad's original file. How did she read the original file if TBI's got it? They don't have it. They haven't had it. Even in 2025, they were still looking for the file and the physical evidence. Mike Elam gives you this line right there. He knows. Listen to this. Listen.
Reviewed the information I submitted, the original 1967 file and evidence, combined.
The original, the stuff that I submitted, and the original file. Is Mike Elam saying he had the original file? Is that what this guy just said for Mike Elam? Because he's wrote this statement up. This is Mike's wording. So see, guys, this case is so confusing. And that's the case. Let's look at the case, what we got here. This case is so confusing on everybody's level that's accused Buford Pusser of murder and his wife. But does anybody look at the big picture? This man's been accused of murdering his wife. He's been convicted in public opinion of murdering his wife forevermore. Mr. Elam wants to argue over this or that. He wants to say people's jumping on other people for questioning how a dead man's being convicted of murder because he can't stand trial. He can't be indicted. This is not about...
With a recent 2+ year investigation where they interviewed
They done 2+ year investigation, guys, 58 years later. Now, I cut it off there. I'll rewind it because he says they interviewed new witnesses. Let's listen.
Witnesses, conducted forensic and evidence, combined it with a recent 2+ year investigation where they interviewed new witnesses, conducted forensic analysis.
They interviewed new witnesses, guys. Witness. Do you know what a witness is? A witness is someone who sees or hears something. a witness. They witnessed it with their own eyes, with their own ears. Who did they interview that was on New Hope Road, August the 12th, 1967? Who did they interview that was on New Hope Road at this ambush when Buford and Pauline was ambushed? Or at least who did they interview that admitted to seeing Buford doing something wrong? They might have been somebody on New Hope Road on that day and time. They wasn't there for going to be a witness on behalf of Buford. They might have partook in what happened that morning. There's no updated witnesses. Mike Elam wants to give you the illusion that, and the TBI wants to give you that illusion with this voluminous file. We have a voluminous file, 2,500 pages of bull, 2,500 pages of BS. When you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS. And that's what they done, or they thought they were going to do. It's not working out like that. It's not proven out. And if it's not Fred McCoy telling you about it, don't worry, because there's other Fred McCoys and Sheila McCoys. There's other people out there. So if it's not Fred, it will be somebody else. People's not going to let this go away. They see the deceit. They see the fabrication, fame, fortune, and name notoriety. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. That's I opine.
In a shooting reconstruction, an exhumed...
A shooting reconstruction where they put a tripod. This is a drive-by. This is a side-by-side car ambush. They put a tripod with a rifle on it 30 to 50 feet away from the car and shoot. How does that reenactment? How is that a duplicated crime scene? They turn these two people towards each other, driving down the road facing each other when they shoot them, so the blood goes toward the back seat rather than over on Buford. They don't want you to see what really happened, that Buford would have been covered in Pauline's blood had it happened the correct way. They go out and shoot a Dollar Tree sponge, a scouring pad soaked in Halloween fake blood, hang it on a fish line over top of a piece of butcher paper and call that modern day forensics. The blood splatter was on a metal car hood with painted car hood. We're going to let blood splatter on a piece of wood product, a piece of paper, and try to get the same. I'm not a ballistics expert. I'm not a forensic expert. I'm not an expert in anything. I have some common sense. I have been approved as expert witness on certain things in court trials throughout the years because of my experience in as many DUI cases or whatever it may have been that I worked over the years. But on this case right here, forensics and ballistics and
Pauline, so she could finally receive the autopsy she was denied for 58 years.
She was denied an autopsy of 58 years. She comes to the morgue. Dr. Pillar looks at her. She's got at least 2 bullet holes in her head. Her husband's been shot. It's a ambush. Read the newspapers of the day. Read the newspaper of that time. Read the FBI reports. When the FBI also, J. Edgar Hoover sent the FBI in there to help the TBI. Read Warren Jones's report originally, until he could go a different avenue.
Those findings were reviewed by District Attorney General Mark Davidson.
The autopsy. She didn't have an autopsy for 58 years. They gave her an autopsy and they found out the same thing they knew on August the 12th, 1967. She'd been shot in the head. She didn't shoot herself, so that's a homicide. She'd been murdered, and she'd been shot with a high-powered rifle, high-velocity rounds, and she was dead. That's what they found out. 58 years later, they found out exactly the same thing that they found out from Dr. Pillar that day when he done the initial report. Now, they didn't find no bullets because the bullets went through and through. So Mr. Davison says, hey, maybe we can go with this nasal fracture. This is my opinion, guys. Maybe we can go with this nasal fracture, a healing wound, because he had read the report where she had a well-healed nasal fracture from the anthropologist. But instead of saying well-healed, he says at the news conference she had a healing nasal fracture, commonly associated with domestic violence, implicating Buford Pusser as a spouse abuser, even though she had divorced the spouse abuser for actually beating her up, R-ing her, molesting her, all these different things years and years before. Buford saved her. Didn't murder her. He's the one that rescued her from her first marriage. She had been abused, but it was by a different husband. But Mr. Davison, he failed to mention that. The TBI, with all their investigative skills and abilities and techniques and forensics and research abilities, they overlooked. There's an author out there, Wilm Hummingen. He's got a book out, Amazon. Just come out with it. He's actually an expert witness, actually a well-educated, intelligent man. And he went and found, with a little bit of research, the divorce papers from Pauline Pusser. How hard was that, guys? How hard was it to go and find her divorce and then look through there where it says that she was beaten? She was beaten so bad and in so much fear that the judge in that case, back in the old days, you had to wait so many days for your divorce to take effect and all this and that. Her marriage was so bad that the judge waived the waiting period for her divorce to take effect and signed it and made it active immediately. But the TBI, now they can fly a plane to Louisville, Kentucky to get an old elderly gentleman to sign a paper to dig his sister up. They can fly a plane to Oklahoma to tell a man that had killed a judge and a judge's wife that you've earned it. You've earned the honor to call you mister. You've earned it. What? You earned what? You've earned it? Listen to Mr. Parsons with his nose. Listen to Mr. Parsons' interview with a convicted murderer, Curtsy Nix, in Oklahoma. Listen to that. Guys, I lost my train of thought, but we'll go on.
Autopsy she was denied for 58 years. Those findings were reviewed by District Attorney General Mark Davidson, who stated publicly that if Buford were alive today, he would be indicted for Pauline Pusser's murder.
And that's all it took. That's all it took for a conviction. Mr. Davison convicted Buford Pusser of murder on that stage when he said that, because Buford Pusser can't be indicted. Buford Pusser can't stand trial, but with him saying that, he convicted, in public opinion, Buford Pusser of murder. That's the most, for a prosecutor to do that in our justice system was just so wrong.
That is a matter of public record. Yet instead of attacking that investigation with proof,
That's all we've done is attack it with proof. That's all Sheila and I have done since August the 29th, 2025. Every day, almost every day, we've shown at least one video attacking something, showing with proof that this couldn't happen, this didn't happen, how that happened, how we have done that. But then Mr. Elam comes up and makes a video and says they've been attacked. These people's just wanting to attack other people. Who should we attack there, Mr. Elam? Mr. Davison says that she had a healing nasal fracture. That's not what the report said. The anthropologist says she had a well-healed. So who do we say told us? Who do we say stood on that stage and said that this lady had a healing nasal fracture? Well, it was Mr. Davison. Is there harm in telling who said it? He didn't mind to get up on that stage and say it. But we shouldn't be allowed to repeat what he said or challenge what he said on that stage that day to make sure he's telling the truth, which he wasn't. Not according to the anthropologist, he wasn't.
Naysayers attack individuals.
And there you are. You're either a naysayer or a Kool-Aid drinker. If you're on one side, you're a naysayer. If you're on the other side, you're a Kool-Aid drinker. Guys, why do we have to have sides? Let's go with the truth. Truth with proof. If the proof shows that something did or didn't happen, then that's the way it is. It's evidence and it's proof. Don't say we have evidence in words alone. Actually show the evidence. Mike?
Accusing people of lying over honest mistakes.
Honest mistakes. It's okay to make an honest mistake. It's okay to tell a mistruth about Buford Pusser or allege that he murdered his wife. It's okay to do that, but if you're wrong or you say something that's not true, it's an honest mistake. Oh, okay. So Mr. Davison made an honest mistake, guys. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Mr. Davison, a well-educated, an attorney, a college graduate, he's read hundreds and thousands of reports from coroners and pathologists and medical people and stuff, but he mistook. He made a mistake when he read that she had a healing nasal fracture. He meant to say she had a well-healed nasal fracture. Is that a mistake? Mr. Elam can call it a mistake if he wants. I think it was a means to an end. I think he was going on with his narrative, the narrative that they had from the beginning. Did Mr. Roush make a mistake when he told the news media, you're going to be able to see all the evidence. You're going to see all the physical evidence from the ambush scene. That's what he said. If I'm not mistaken, go back and listen to that. It's there. We've posted it several times. But him knowing, he said that on stage, and him knowing that all the evidence had been lost, is that a mistake? Mr. Elam can call it a mistake if he wants to. I'm from the mountains, and where I'm from, I call it hogwash. I call it what it is.
While substituting their own opinion for evidence. They even produce AI-generated videos depicting me as a Walmart security.
Sheila and I don't have, that's not Sheila and I that's making. Listen, there's amusement, guys. This is not us. I'm not going to take up for a person, good or bad. Everybody's got their own opinion. But when did we start criticizing and condemning everything? That's what's wrong with this country. We cry like little girls. Mr. Elam says he's got some videos made about him about AI. It's okay for him to accuse a dead man of 51 years of killing his wife 58 years ago, who he's been buried beside of for the last 51 years. It's okay for him to do that. But don't you guys make an AI video about me working at Walmart. Guys, grow up, Mike. Everybody, let's grow up and mature a little bit. Can we laugh at things? Can we make fun? Do we have to be? Wow, what's happened to our society? That's not Sheila and I. This fella made Sheila and I one that says truth with proof, Buford, and one of their Kool-Aid drinkers had to come apart. He had to come apart. He thought the guy was trying to act like it was really Buford's voice. He said, that don't sound like Pauline. That don't sound like Buford. It's AI, guys. It's AI. It's a joke, people.
Guard. For the record, I was employed by the Phillips Company as Director of Loss Prevention, not as a security.
You know, isn't it funny to none of you? Nobody brings this up, that Mike Elam has discussed his employment with Phillips or Walton's or Walmart. He's discussed this so many times. But yet all you see is a badge and an identification card of some sort on the wall where he says he was a police officer. Isn't that something? That he'll defend his employment with, or not with, Wally World, what he's saying. But I could care less about Walmart or his Phillips brothers or whatever it is. I could care less. I want to see the sheriffs he worked for, the departments that he worked for, the certifications, breathalyzer certifications, accident reconstruction certifications, all these hostage negotiation certifications. Show us police firearms instructor certification. Show us these credentials on your police investigative skills, Mike. This is not about working at Wally World. This is about your claim that you're either a sheriff, a deputy sheriff, a retired, all these different things. Just like Mr. Baldwin that says he's a retired 35-year law enforcement officer. We're not finding it. I made a video way back where I actually called Bentonville Sheriff's Department. They said they never heard of Mike Elam. Called the newspaper editor in that city. Never heard of Mike Elam. I put the phone calls, I taped the phone calls and put them on that video. Mike's never come back and said, Fred McCoy, you're wrong. Just like he just did about 60 Minutes. Make a video, Mike, and say, Fred McCoy, you're wrong. Here's my credentials. Here's the sheriff I worked for. Or are we waiting for that sheriff to die? And then after that sheriff dies, we can say, yeah, I was sheriff's #1 man. I was the lead. I'm sorry. I'm speculating, guys. I'm using my opinion. But again, I'm also using common sense. We can take the time to defend ourselves with our employment with Wally World or not. But we can't give our law enforcement career that we're supposed to have had?
Guard. I have never worked for Walmart in that capacity. These videos depict me, a 74-year-old man, being ridiculed and subjected to physical...
Oh, we wouldn't want to do that. We wouldn't want to ridicule a 74-year-old man that's at the press conference where Mark Davison says only credentialed media personnel will be allowed, but yet Dennis Hathcock and Mike Elam was allowed to be at this press conference. No other people, but they were allowed to be there. He's condemned and criticized, but it's okay to condemn and criticize a dead man. You know the difference between Mike Elam and Buford Pusser in this respect, guys? Mike Elam's alive to stand up for himself. Mike Elam's alive to make videos and protest. He's alive to make videos and tell his side of the story. He's alive to do that. Imagine when he's dead. Imagine being a dead man and not being able to come back and defend yourself like Buford Pusser. And accused with the most outrageous crime you could ever be accused of. Killing somebody. Murder. Homicide. But not only homicide, but the homicide of your spouse, your wife, who he's been buried beside of 51 years.
And elder abuse. They also portray...
Oh, let's bring elder abuse in now. Let's bring elder abuse. Let's bring anything we can. Let's bring harassment. Let's bring all these different charges. There's nobody been bullied like Fred McCoy has been bullied on this case. Bullied, and then the guy even got on there and made a video threatening other people that Mike Elam had spoke about. He since took his video down, but after everybody else has been bullied and threatened, then Mike comes up and wants to talk about elder abuse. How about abuse of a corpse?
Senior TBI officials, District Attorney General Mark Davidson and others involved in uncovering the truth as fools and bumbling idiots and attempt to portray themselves as real investigators.
Guys, you're talking to a guy right here that could care less. I have lived, God has blessed me with a wonderful life. I've had a wonderful life like everybody else. I've had ups and downs and discouragements and been I've lost my faith as far as the justice system and watching what goes on in the world and has been part of it because I grew up on Adam 12 and Dragnet, and I grew up thinking that everybody, cops and prosecutors, were honest, and they're not. They're not. Just because they carry a badge or a law degree with a title doesn't make them honest, doesn't make them have integrity, doesn't make them have character. It just gives them some authority over the rest of the regular people out here. And their word runs a long way unless somebody's willing to call it out. Not everybody challenges the director of the TBI or the Attorney General of Tennessee. Not everybody does that. You'd have to be old. You'd have to be arrogant. You'd have to be somebody that doesn't have anything in life, that's done sold or gave everything away, that has no fear of being sued or has no fear of, you just get old. After a while, a person, when you get in your old age, some people says they get old and arrogant. Old people are arrogant. Old people, it's not that. Old people just get tired of hearing all the BS throughout life. And then sometimes every now and then, there's some of them that's got enough gumption about them to actually speak about it.
What we are dealing with are people who have no regard for the community standards of social media pages where they post this propaganda. So ask yourself this. This simple but brilliant device is helping
Post propaganda. Guys, everything we post, proof with truth. Why would we say truth with proof? Why would we say that if we wasn't showing? I'm looking at something there.
The experts and have evidence. Why not present it? Why attack people instead of the investigation?
We've done nothing but present evidence, and we get attacked by Mike Elam and Mr. X and different ones. We show evidence, and we get assaulted or insulted because they want to draw our attention away from the case at hand, investigating and finding out more flaws, more fabrication, more deceit. But if we're making videos like this here responding to Mr. Elam, imagine the evidence we could have uncovered. We could have reviewed a bunch more pages today. We could have been listening to more audio tapes. But instead, I'm sitting here making this video responding to Mike Elam's tape. How much sense does that make? It doesn't, except that he got me off task today.
The answer is simple. Because if there was clear, credible proof that Buford was innocent, it would have been presented long ago.
If there was clear, credible proof that Buford Pusser was guilty, it would have been presented 58 years ago, guys. If there was clear, credible proof that he was guilty, it would have been presented 58 years ago. I can't emphasize that enough. Not 58 years later, after everybody's dead and the evidence is lost.
Then there are the latecomers to the conversation. Those that comb through the investigation file looking for any little gotcha information they can find as if there is enough to outweigh everything else in the file.
What else has he showed you in the file, guys? Remember how Mike always... We're getting towards the end of his video. I haven't looked, but I guarantee you we're towards the end of his video, because at the end of his videos, that's what he says. Wait, you're going to see the evidence. The evidence is overwhelming. You're not going to believe the evidence when you all see this. I'm going to show you in the next video. Now, he's already went to talking.
Where have these people been all along, and why come out now? It's because...
Well, because some of us has never been Buford Pusser friends or foes. It's just never been a topic important to us. But when we saw these guys on this stage seeking fame, fortune, and name notoriety, and we heard them speaking, and we hear reporters ask questions from the audience, and they say the evidence is overwhelming, the file is voluminous, but we don't have time to talk about it, but see the file. And they'll ask another question, and they say, see the file. I can advise you to see the file. That's pointing the finger, guys, in the other direction. That's a distraction. There is nothing to see. They didn't have nothing to talk about. They didn't have time to discuss this case on that stage, but Mr. Davison had time to bring up that Buford Pusser was the movie of the Walking Tall. He had done several sequels to this movie. There's been, even Rock Johnson has done a movie of Walking Tall. What's that got? We don't have time to cover the murder charge that they just placed against Buford Pusser, but we got time to stand on that stage and talk about the Walking Tall movie series. The file's too voluminous, and we'll advise you to see the file because we just don't have time to go over it, but we got time to bring up the Walking Tall movies and talk about it. Does that make sense to you guys?
They simply are attempting to make their voices relevant in the conversation. That tells you everything we need to know about these people. I suggest the right thing for them to do is to do as I did. They should take their evidence, which they suggest will clear Buford of any involvement in Pauline's murder, to the TBI for review. Ask yourself why they don't.
The reason they don't is really pretty simple. It's because they don't have any evidence. If they did, as I said, they would have shown it by now.
Guys, can you see how Mr. Elam has turned everything around from our videos to what he's doing? If they had evidence, they'd show it by now. Evidence of what, Mike? Evidence of deceit, evidence of fabrication, evidence of rewording anthropologists' reports. Well, evidence of what? This guy has talked about overwhelming evidence. You're going to be surprised when you see the evidence. The evidence is, but he's never shown no evidence, and that's what we say in our videos now, or I do on the ones I put on this channel. Now Mike says, why don't they show evidence? What evidence of what, Mike? You're the ones that's saying that he's guilty. You're supposed to prove a man guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You talk of evidence, but you never show any evidence. You talk of witnesses, it's 58 years later. You talk a good game. You're a great storyteller, sir. And you get upset when somebody questions your stories, your statements. It's not to be mean. Mike, I'm looking right at you. This is not to be mean. This is not to be accusatory. We're asking. You're the one accusing Buford Pusser of murder. Mr. Davison accused him of murder. Mr. Roush, Mr. Parsons. Where's the proof? People are only wanting the proof. Not allegations, not stories.
All they have are opinions and nothing else.
All they have is opinions, guys. Where are we at? How did we get here? How did we get to where we're at today? Mr. Davison stood on that stage and he said, Dr. Michael Reveal opines that Buford Pusser, that Pauline Pusser was killed outside the vehicle and moved into the vehicle. Dr. Reveal opines that Buford shot himself. Dr. Reveal opines. Guys, Dr. Reveal gave his opinion. And then he says Kansas City, whatever they are, Bureau of Investigation opines that this was a staged scene. Guys, we had two people up there, ever who it was. I remember him mentioning Kansas City, but he said that was a staged scene. May get my names wrong here and there. Go back and listen to the press conference. All I can tell you, Mr. Elam wants to talk about, says all they have, all the naysayers have is their opinion. Really? What's this case built on, Mr. Elam? What did Mr. Davison build this case on? Because a reporter asked him, so you have witnesses, he says, well, we have one that says that she was killed outside the vehicle and moved into the vehicle. We have one person that says that it was a staged scene. That's their opinions, guys. That's their opinions. Only they put it into a report and sign their name to it because they've been classified at some point in their life as expert witnesses. I know there's expert witnesses out there because one of them just wrote a book. There's another expert witness that says this is hogwash. This is garbage. This is trash. And that's what he says. His name's William Humming, and he's got a book out on Amazon right now. He's wrote a book. This is an expert witness that goes the other direction. So do we go on opinions? Do we go on evidence, Mr. Elam?
People will stoop to all kinds of lows just to gain a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of attention. They, along the way, make all kinds of trouble for people. For instance, one person got on camera and showed my phone number while acting like he was trying to cover it with a watermark, was saying, don't call this person, don't threaten this person. knowing exactly what his listeners and his viewers would do.
And guys, I believe Mike is referring to me there. Mike had contacted me with some threatening messages when I first started on this case, and I'd made some comments. He threatened me with a lawsuit. You better call me now, and I mean now, or this is going to happen, or whatever he said. It was threatening. I know what a threat is, but I'm too old and I don't pay attention to threats. Go ahead and do what you have to do, and we'll just fight it out in court and see where it goes. But he threatened me, and he did leave me his phone number to call him, and we tried our best. And I thought it was. I went back and looked this morning. I can see what he's talking about, so I'll give him he's right. The thing as it moved, you can, if you want to look for it, you can see the number, but we clouded it out. She blurred it out as much as we could. But my phone number, guys, is 606-669-0364. 606-669-0364. That's Fred McCoy's phone number. Now, Mike acts like it's the end of the world because his phone number got out, and I guess somebody might have called him. I'm sure I'm going to get some calls now from some of Mike's people. That's fine. Call, guys, because you're going to go to voicemail on my phone. I don't answer. All calls go to voicemail, and you can say what you want, and then I'll hit block and delete. And if you want to call back, you'll have to go get your wife's phone or somebody else's phone and do it. And I'll hit block and delete. It's real simple, Mike. For an investigator of your... most people knows how to block phone calls, and nothing was meant to be intentional. Nothing was meant to be... Guys, I'm as old as Mike is. A grown man. Grown man. Man up, Mike. If you're going to go after a dead man, man up. There's live people out there that actually stand up for themselves and for other people. It ain't as easy as attacking a dead man for the last 20 years. Sometimes people may stand up and call your hand as far as the evidence, so-called evidence that you say you have.
And I was getting phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, but guess what?
There's a little switch on your phone, Mike. Most people, when they go to bed at night, they'll flip it, and it says do not disturb, and that way your phone don't wake you up at night. You need to research. You can go on the internet and research cell phones. It'll tell you all about them.
I shut my phone off to everyone but my immediate family members.
You don't have to do that, Mike. All you have to do is hit block. If you get a call, hit block. They won't be able to call you back from that number. They'll have to find another phone.
So I didn't hear those calls until the next morning when I checked messages. And I'd play them for you today, except they're so profane, I would probably get kicked off of the social media pages that I'm on.
Mike, don't be a crybaby, sir. There's people out there, we all got them. Any YouTuber out there has trolls and people that don't like us. There's people that don't like you. There's people that don't like me. We can't, don't be a crybaby. Offer those people the option to...
for even considering playing them. So I just wanted to bring you guys up to date on just how low some of these people will stoop when they don't have a shred of evidence to even...
It's pretty low, Mike. They'd have to be pretty low to accuse a dead man of 58 years of murdering his wife. I don't know. I don't know if a person can get any lower than that or not. I'll just be honest.
Buford was even close to being innocent of Pauline's murder. Having said that, I'll get off here by saying, as I always do.
Yeah. Guys, we wish Mr. Elam, Mr. Davis, and Mr. Roush, Mr. Parsons, and all these people involved in this case, we wish them the best. Mr. Oakley Baldwin, they wanted fame, fortune, and name notoriety. They're getting it. We're helping them to get it. Their name is out there. Their names are out there forevermore. Just like those people that wanted to be in the back of, or that Oakley Baldwin has in the back of his book. just like all these names. They worked for this. There's the sources. And he goes through here, all the sources in Oakley Baldwin's book. I didn't buy this book, guys. Somebody sent it to Sheila and I guess, to review. And I'll be doing a review on it just as quick as I get done with this other stuff. But this is the people. They worked hard. They wanted to be famous. They wanted to be famous. They wanted to be in these books. This is Oakley Baldwin's. Imagine what Mike Elam, I'm sure he's got a page also that, or pages, where he's acknowledging people. And that's all these people that's now famous. Because they are in a book about Buford Pusser. See if you recognize any of those names. Michael Parsons, Brent Booth, Corey Latham. See if you recognize any of these people. Wow. What's something to show if you've got your own business and you want to tell somebody, yeah, I was in on that Buford Pusser case way back. I ain't going to go through all of them, guys. It's already 1 hour and 10 minutes. Guys, I don't know what to say. I don't hate nobody. I hate fabrication. I hate lies. And I have a reason. This Buford case touched home with me. And I've said it many, many, many times. And one day we're going to do a complete video on it. And after that, then you will understand a lot better. As Mike Elam making false accusations and making Buford Pusser with no evidence. It's just not right, whether it's Mike Elam, whether it's Buford Pusser, whether somebody does it to Mr. Davison or Mr. Roush. It's not right for nobody. And it should be through evidence and through proof, not allegations and not press conferences. We don't convict people of murder at a press conference. We don't convict them unless they're dead. And then once you make that statement, you've convicted them forevermore. Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.